Hello, welcome. My name is Catherine. This is my first YouTube video, so welcome. If you clicked on this video, it's because you're interested in either a police ride-along, or you want to go into the police force, or you just want to know what this video is about. This is the place. So a little about me is that my name is Catherine. I'm a senior in college, going for a Bachelor of Arts and Sciences in Criminal Justice, and my hope is to become a police officer. I went on a police ride-along in a small Ohio city. Not small, but you know what I mean. Tip number one. The first tip is to write down any questions that you have, because you're gonna have a lot of questions, and you're gonna hate yourself when you can't remember those questions until after the ride-along, and you're like, crap, I wish I remembered to ask that. So write down any questions you have, no matter how stupid it sounds. Just they hear stuff all the time. Tip number two, how to apply to go on a ride-along. So each department has a website, and you'll go to that website, Tammany City Police Department website, and somewhere there you should find a citizen ride-along. And so there they'll say about their policies and requirements, things like that, and there should be a form that you have to fill out and send to them. So it's just about you, your social security, because they want to look you up, what days you could do it, things like that. So for me, it had the website, but it had no one to send it to. So I had the form ready, but no one to send it to. So I found someone's name who was probably in charge. And I was like, hi, my name is Catherine. I'm interested in doing a ride-along with your department. If you could let me know who I send that form to, that would be great. And so he sent me the information of who is in charge of coordinating the ride-alongs. Tip number two, get up early, whatever time, make sure you are on time. Nothing worse than showing up late. Make sure you know how to get there beforehand. What I did was I Googled what the building looks like, Google Images, because I just like to know those things. I want to make sure I'm going in the right place. So that's what I did. Number three, dress professionally. Dress in a nice, guys, dress in a nice shirt, khakis, shoes. Girls, nice top, slacks, shoes. I dressed in, I think, Converse, because that was the only nicest shoe I had that wasn't like a heel or a flat, because nothing gonna be worse than you having to run somewhere or go far in heels or flats. You don't want that. You just don't.
Are you all right? Okay.
I stepped on her hair.
I'm the type of person that has like so many questions, like where do I park? Where do I go? What do I say? So I was worried all about that. And I was worried like, oh, what if I get someone mean who just doesn't want to answer my questions, just hates that I'm there? That was not the case. Don't think that. It's just making you worry more than you should. So when I went, I found where to park, it was fairly easy. I was like, what am I worrying about? So I found where to park, and I went up, and there was a buzzer, and I was like, hi, my name is Catherine. I'm here for a ride-along. And so they let me in, and they took me up to a conference room. And so I sat there by myself for a couple minutes until a bunch of officers came in. They're sitting down, they're looking at me, and like a few said hi. And then the chief came in, he sat at the front, he did roll call, and then he did like things like, oh, look out for this missing car, look out for this, make sure you guys are doing this, all that. So they gave me to an officer. He was so cool. I loved him. I aspired to be him. So the first thing that we did was I got to wear a bulletproof vest. So that was super cool. Coolest thing, honestly. Then we went out to his car, which wasn't his car. It was like one that he shares with another officer because his car is in the shop, for reasons I don't know. I did ask him if he wrecked it, and he was like, no, it just has issues. And so that was funny. I usually, when I meet someone new, I'm kind of like reserved and shy, and I don't like say the things I want to say, but it just slipped out, and I was like, oh, he's going to be mad at me. But he wasn't. He thought it was hilarious. So then he showed me his car. He showed me where everything goes, all the equipment, all the things he has. And then he showed me all the buttons. It was really cool. He showed me his computer and the screen and where all the calls come in. And he also showed me a button that I would have to push if something happened to him. And I'm like, okay, thanks, I'll do that. So that was funny. So the first call we went on, it was a mental health person. And so the officer I went with, two female officers tagged along in their own car. And they've dealt with this person. They have a couple people that they deal with like every month. They're like, we just go, we listen to them talk. They don't really have that many people to talk to. We don't hear from them until later. We just do it again. It's no big deal. So we go to this lady, and she claims that her neighbor's boyfriend is living in her attic. And it's one of those like apartments that are like apartment. And so like a wall is between apartments. And so we see where the attic is, but that attic is bolted shut with nails, so there's no way no one lives there. And she claims that the neighbor got mad at her because of the man coming into her apartment, that she put semen all over her front door. So when we went in, when we heard that was like in the info, I was like, what? They did what? And so like, he was just like, yeah, the officer, he was just like, yeah, girl. I was like, I'm not touching that door. I don't care if it's real or not. So that was funny. The second call, we went and we pulled over a car in a not great part now, the city. And so we pulled them over. It was like 5-6 guys in this tiny little car. And I was like, ah. And the officer comes back and he looks them up. He's like, oh, they have a gun license. So he comes back with the guy's gun. The guy was understanding. He's like, oh yeah, I got my gun. You want it? He held on to it for a couple minutes while he got everything situated. He let him go. But the guy was chill. The officer handled it so well. I was like, we need more of you. We need more like you. So that was really cool. The next call we went on was an overdose at the hospital parking lot. So it was a man and a woman. The woman, they were in the car, and the woman was overdosed. They brought her there to the hospital, but I guess he couldn't get her in or something. So there's paramedics. He was just, I don't know what he was on, but he was just ranting and raving and all that. So they knocked in the woman, they got her back, and then we took them both to jail. We had to take the woman, and that process was so long. We had to go in, we had to wait, we had to fill out paperwork, we had to wait till she got patted down vigorously by a woman. And then she claimed that she might need a hospital, so if we had to do that, we'd have to take her to the hospital and wait with her there, let her get checked out, and then bring her back to jail. And so that would have been an all-day thing, but thankfully she did not. So the fourth call was a stolen car. Next morning, her car was gone. So she has All-Star, I want to say it's called. And so it's like they can track your car. But she couldn't like get into her account or something, I don't know. And so me and the officer go back to the car. He calls some other officers that we met earlier who have dealt with All-Star before, and they're like, yeah, we'll let you know, we'll call them up. And so we waited, and they finally came back to us, and they're like, yeah, we found it, it's downtown, we'll meet you there. And my officer was like, I do not want them to get before us. this was our case. And so we raced there. We raced there. Anyways, so we race there. We get there in record time. We find the car. It's locked. Everything's locked. And so we call her and we tell her we got a car. We can tow it. The only crappy part was, well, he's like, we can tow it, but to get it from the lot, it'll be like $200, $300. And she's like, I do not have that money, which I understand. And they're like, oh, we can contact All-Star. And so we did contact All-Star to come tow the car, but they were not understanding where we were. He kept repeating the roads, and he was just like, and he's like, all right, never mind. So the woman and her husband finally come. They found a key somehow, some way. And so they come and anyway, the officers asked them if they wanted to file a report, which they did. So they had to bring out a guy who came and did fingerprints, pictures, and all that. And that was really cool because he showed me everything, showed me how it works, showed me the process and where he takes it and what he does with it. And he said if there's no fingerprints in the database, nothing would really happen with the whole case. So it was towards the end of the night that I was like, oh, like I have to leave soon, I've been here all day. I have dinner plans with some friends. And he was like, okay, that's cool. But then after that, we found the stolen car. He was like, hey, we just got a call of an overdose. You want to go see it? We can drive real fast right over it. I was like, sure, that's fine. And so we went, and there was so many people there. There was probably 40, 50 people there. It was officers, there was firefighters, ambulance, paramedics. The family was there. It was a man in his house who overdosed. They probably worked on this guy for like 45 to an hour or more. And so then they couldn't figure out what he took because the family claimed that he was clean now. But apparently the city I was in they deal with a lot of overdoses. So this was nothing new to the officers and the paramedics and all them. So they're like, why don't you guys look around, try to figure out what he took. So me and the officer I was with, we kind of looked around the house, we looked around the kitchen. We didn't find anything. So the whole time they were working on him, the officer I was with, he was kind of looking at me like, is this girl okay? Is she doing okay? Like, there's a guy on the ground dying. But I think I was like, I'm very desensitized from this kind of stuff because, I've been wanting to do this since 8th grade. I knew what the job entailed, but I think it's like very different when you see it in person rather than, TV. TV is fake, and you hear on the news, it's like, oh, you're very distant from it. And so that's one thing why you should do a ride-along is because you never know. You could go your whole life saying you want to be an officer. You could go to college for it in 3 years and you're like, oh, I need to do a ride-along. And you'll do the ride-along and then you figure out you're like, I can't do that. I can't do this. And so now you have to change your whole degree. You have to figure out what you want to do, a whole new path in life. So my advice is to do a ride-along as soon as you can. It's an experience. It makes you appreciate officers more. It lets you get a feel of what officers do day in and day out, type of people they deal with, all that. And it'll help you figure out, it's like, is this something I can do? Is this something I want to do? Anyway, the overdose gentleman did die. New experience. I've never seen a dead body, so never been near one. But it's very interesting to see the officers, the paramedics, and all of them. I think they're used to that. Like, they deal with a lot of overdoses, so they're used to it. And like, I was just kind of there. I was like, but I feel like that's you know, this job, I can do that. I can 100% do this job. And if that's not something you can deal with, that's okay. You know, not everyone is meant to do something. It takes a special kind of person to be able to do all kinds of things, certain things. So, my last advice is to thank the officer and maybe whoever else you came in contact with. The chief ended up coming over to the house of the overdose gentleman, and I thanked him for letting me come along with his department, and I thanked the officer for showing me everything, and we talked about when all their testing is for the academy and everything. So I don't think I'll be going with that city just because I'm looking at somewhere else, but it was a very good, insightful, and if you're still questioning like, oh, is this something I can do, how I knew 100% after, I'm like, I cannot wait to go do this. I cannot wait to go in the academy and be able to do this and wear the badge. You know, if you don't feel that, that's not for you, and that's okay. You can start looking, maybe something else in the criminal justice field. There's so many things. So yeah, I plan to do more videos like this. If you guys, whatever videos you guys want to see, let me know, comment below. I plan to do college videos, all kinds of videos. So let me know what you guys want to see. Thanks. Bye.